Proper legacy, what's it all about, hey? For me, Proper Talent's 30 years old, and I've always wanted to mark that occasion with something special. And we're also coming up to the 200th release. So that's a lot of releases, 200, you know, and I was like, what can I do? What can I do? And I started this journey about a year ago. And we've now gone past the 30 years. It's actually 31 years now because this took so long. Can you imagine like having to get all the tracks you've ever made, all the parts off DAT, trying to go through it, or find it? And I started a spreadsheet and I started putting all the tracks, and I went to Discogs and I started cataloging everything. And I just thought, okay, you know, I'm going to start this project. And it took so long just to start all of that stuff. So once I had all the tracks done and I was like, okay, we've got 200 tracks pretty much here. I went into my other labels, Low Key. I went into Unique Music and I started pulling those tracks. And it was just a labor of love to make sure that I had the whole catalog. So it started out just as an idea of collecting my body of work and putting it in one space. I want all my work in one spot. But what if I'd got my favorite producers, you know, to remix those tracks and bring that vision a little bit more up to date while keeping it with its original flavors? There's so many producers that I absolutely love, but my first choice is always going to be the people that aren't going to want to change the remix completely. I wanted to pick remixers and producers that would keep the track authentic, but just bring it a little bit into like, you know, modern day time. So not change it completely. So that's why I went for producers who are amazing, like Blade Runner, Clue, Dope Ammo, Aries. I mean, these are just a few of the names, but overall, yeah, over a period of a year, we've got everybody that we wanted, so it's pretty amazing. So you've got people like Hype, who really encouraged me.
Well, the first time I met Sharissa was randomly in a record. There used to be a record shop in Walthamstow that's not there anymore, like most record shops. It was called Music Village, and it was right by Walthamstow Station. And I used to go in there sometimes to buy records. At the time, I think it was early 1990, because I joined the pirate station called Fantasy FM in 1989. Yeah, 1990.
Genesis membership line 0839812281. 0839812281. Genesis membership line. Let's get into some Jungle Brothers, man. The Jungle Brothers, man.
To me, I don't think she was working there. I think she was just friends with the people that worked there. And she just said, am I a DJ Hype? I said, yes.
And we were chatting away about how I could get onto a pirate radio station. And he said, oh, I'll introduce you to Foxy, who runs Fantasy. And, you know, Hype has always been super, super supportive. He's the one who got me my agent in England.
Well, you know, like you see her billed as the Queen of Jungle or Queen. And the tunes she made back then, you know, she's built up a few classics back then that stood the test of time. And I think now in this new era where, you know, like you've got that in the last few years where, you know, traditional jungle made a kind of comeback, and it's kind of here to stay now rather than being a phase. And you've got like producers making new stuff, youngsters and old a lot, that are enjoying the music from the original era. So she fits perfectly.
Yo, my name's Jumping Jack Frost, DJ, record producer, author, entrepreneur. When DJ rap was first came into the scene, where she was playing was like the Oranges, the Helter Skelters, and the more ravey kind of events. And I think that suited her, do you know what I mean? Because, you know, there was a lot of emphasis on her being a female, and there wasn't many around at the time. And I was very close to her in terms of helping her, giving her advice. I don't know if she's mentioned this, but I actually told her what clothes to wear.
You know, then you've got people like Frost, who Frost would tell me what to wear. Do you remember back in the day, it was all Fila and all of that stuff? And he'd be like, you know, rap, you got to wear Fila. But I watched how he conducted his business. I watched how, you know, these men put their records out. I watched Goldie, I watched all of them, I watched Groove. And I just learned by watching what they did and how they conducted things. And they were always supportive. But nobody gave me special allowances.
When she came into the business, I liked her enthusiasm, I liked her fire. She was relentless in her pursuit of where she wanted to get to. Do you know what I mean? And she was always asking questions and blah, blah. And I just took a shining to her. I just thought that she was great, you know what I mean? And I was willing to sit her down and talk to her about all kind of stuff, do you know what I mean? I know she came into the business and within a year or two, she came up with Spiritual Aura, which still is a seminal record, groundbreaking, big, one of the biggest jungle records ever.
That is a defining moment, like, as a producer for DJ Rap, was Spiritual Aura. I'm not saying she hasn't made great tunes after that, but that tune there will live in the history of music, not just drum and bass or jungle. I'm talking about in music. That's all you need to make. You can stop making music after that. You know what I'm saying? Because we were looking for that one, and she made that one. She made Spiritual Aura. She was talented, and that is the most fundamental thing in this game. No matter who you are, do you know what I'm saying? It's like everybody says, oh, the doors are closed for women and this and that and that and this. The doors weren't closed. It's about what you're willing to sacrifice. And that's why she rose more than a lot of other women or a lot of other DJs, full stop. Just take the woman out of it, because she's a fine DJ, excellent DJ, you know, and to create history 35 years plus, this is not an easy game. And to be still standing there tall 35 years later, that's got to say something.
One thing you can never say about this job is that it's boring. No 2 days are ever the same. Perfect for a Sagittarius like me. One moment you're DJing in front of thousands, the next you're at a photo shoot. Here I am working with the world famous photographer, Danny Glinch. This was for promo around my learning curve era. I look back at that time and just think how lucky I've been to experience so many sides of the industry, like branches on a tree. One moment you're a DJ, then a producer, a model, a performer, so many hats, all part of the journey. Back then, it was definitely simpler. You did the shoot, the interview, made the music, and the label handled the rest. These days, being an indie means you do it all. You're an entrepreneur, you're the label, the marketeer, the editor, the manager, and the brand. You have to bring the talent and the business sense. It was definitely easier under a major label. They did the heavy lifting. I just had to show up and deliver. Bring the energy, bring the performance, and yeah, maybe just look good doing it.
Okay, brilliant. We're all done,
Do
aren't
you have
we?
all your stuff?
We have
Yeah, we have everything.
Excellent.
Let's go.
Thank you.
My whole life is on tape, which is crazy.
Rap messaged me with a list of tracks that were possible to remix, and I had a look at the list. I went to YouTube to play a few because I hadn't heard of a few, and a few that I clicked on, I was like, wow, that's the tune off my tape. That I never knew what it was, and I had to choose that one. It was called Switch. I never knew that was her. from back then, and I was like, wow, I didn't know that was one of your tunes. That was one of my favourites. There was a couple on there. There was another one called Abyss as well, a Congo one that I used to hear on Groove Rider tapes from '94, and I wanted to do that one as well. I could have done all of them really, but I chose Switch. So then that was the most challenging because there was no samples for it either. So I had to go back and find everything or recreate, and you know, the technology's good now as well because you can strip things out of the old tracks as well, which is really good. So yeah, I usually set about finding all the parts I can for it first, and then I'll start adding my own vibes to it, but I like to have the original vibe there first. I've been going out, seeing her play since I was 14, going to the Sanctuary and that kind of thing. You know, I used to go there, I used to watch. I remember particularly one time when I was maybe 1995, watching her play. That was the first time I understood mixing backwards and forwards, chopping between tunes. I remember the certain tune she was playing. I think it is very important to work with the new artists as well, to get the new sound in there and just to educate everyone about the history of it all as well, you know, because it gets lost in time if no one keeps doing that and shows where they come from, you know, so I think that's good.
People always ask me about why did I leave England to go to the USA to, you know, make records and what happened. And sometimes I get people saying, oh, you abandoned everyone. And it wasn't like that. I feel that my career was getting stale in England. I was going up and down the motorway, wasn't really getting any more gigs. It wasn't really going anywhere. So yeah, I made the decision to completely leave. And it was a difficult decision, you know, people you love, friends you love, leaving all that behind, and then having agents saying, we don't think you'll ever be able to work here again if you leave. I just didn't believe that. Do you know what I mean? I believe that the talent follows you wherever you go. And if no one wants to ever book me when I come back, so be it. It was a chance I was willing to take. You know, I wanted to explore new things. I'm an artist, so it was important to do it. You know, I just thought it was an amazing opportunity to be able to explore the electronic record that I had inside of me. And really, if you think about it, it is telling the story of your life, and suddenly you spill it all out in this one album. And it was my whole life on this album, and that was Learning Curve.
I can't sit down.
Those pants are so
I think
cool.
if I sit down, I'm gonna split in half.
Journey back in time and freeze this moment, because right there, I was thinking, is this really happening? From signing to Columbia to Sony Records, my life changed forever. Hey everyone, I'm DJ Rap, and this year marks 3 decades of proper talent. 30 years. Wow. In this video, catch a glimpse of a significant moment of my career for my very first major photo shoot with Sony. I remember being so excited. I mean, who wouldn't be? But I had no idea about the path I was about to take. All the things I would experience, the good, the bad, the dark, and the magical. Sometimes, I find it hard to believe that my first record was released in 1989, Ambience, We Are the Adored. I made a record called Intelligence, and on that record, I made that with Voyager, and on that record there is a song on the record called Two Loves. A guy called Mick Clark heard the album, and he was the A&R guy for Higher Ground, which was under the umbrella of Columbia Records. And then suddenly I get a call from America, you know, Sony Columbia there, just saying, look, we would love to sign you here. How do you feel about touring here for 6 weeks? And I'll be like, no, I'll just come and move there. For me, it was like, I jumped at the chance to move to another country, to explore everything America had to offer. And it was the most incredible thing I could have done, because I ended up doing shows with David Bowie, Green Day, Christina Aguilera, with Red Hot Chili Peppers. I was just bulletproof. That it was a real shock when something went wrong. It was just like, huh, okay, what? How do I fix that? Because things can go wrong really in a big way, you know, like in 2010, I lost a very big agent. I lost my life savings. And I learned then that in America especially, people don't give a shit about you. But sometimes, just sometimes, if I'm feeling a bit sad, I'll go to my cupboard, I'll pull out I've got these giant folders, I've got like 4 of them, and they are full of flyers and pictures and press. And, you know, I've got so much press from back in the day because it all wasn't online, there was no internet, right? And if I ever feel like I haven't done enough, sometimes I'll read through that, maybe once or twice a year, and I'll remind myself to take a breath and that I've done quite a lot. It's undoubtedly true that we would not have a scene if it wasn't for every single artist who's made all these records that you see surrounding us. Without their music, we wouldn't have a scene, period, end of story. You know, as an artist, I really wanted to grow and push the boundaries and do as many styles as I could. And sometimes that's worked for me and sometimes that's worked against me, but it's taken me to every corner of the globe and given me chances to work with people like David Bowie, Green Day, Seal, and amazing artists, and just tour in a different way than just doing drum and bass and jungle, you know? It was just amazing. I just got to do it all. I wanted to do it all, you know? I just felt like I could do anything I want musically. And maybe I had delusions of grandeur. Maybe I just wanted to explore and touch and feel everything that was around me. And at the time, the management I had were very motivated to push me in a pop direction. And that really wasn't what I wanted to do. I wanted to make electronic music, and that was really where I wanted to be. And I feel that it took a really long time for me to come back to my roots and figure out, like, actually, I like this, and this is what I'm going to make, and that's it. I still like to play around with other stuff, but really I'm most at home with jungle, drum and bass.
Party like a DJ, DJ, DJ. Party like a DJ, DJ, DJ. Party like a DJ, 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 DJ.
Never mind what the rock stars do. They'll be leaving in a car soon. We'll be going to the lights come on, the sun's up, and you're finishing your Pop-Tarts, dude. While you're looking at cartoons, I'm at the after party on a bar stool with a glass of Bacardi, hands in the air till I can't feel my arms move. Hey DJ, please bring that back. I feel like I might collapse. Can't complain, it's a price you pay when you party like a DJ. That's a fact. Fact, 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 fact.
Party like a DJ, DJ, DJ. Party like a DJ, DJ, DJ. Party like a DJ, 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 DJ.
When I was really young, I was really into pirate radio, and I used to watch Dance Energy. And on Dance Energy, there was a little interview or a little thing where it was a snippet of Fantasy FM, and she was a pirate radio DJ. And I was like, wow, pirate radio DJ, sick.
Fantasy kicking live and direct across London town, bringing you the very best in the sounds of the underground. 98 Go. Fantasy obtaining a legal license at long last. We need your help to support this.
So that was my very first experience, and obviously we were all getting tape packs, so I saw her name on tapes. And moving on to Intelligent Woman, which was a big jungle anthem at the time, which is actually the track that I've had the honour to do a mix of on the album project. Huge tune. I've always been a fan of that tune. She was like, the got remix project, what would you like to do? I obviously love my ragga, I love my reggae, I love all the ragga jungle stuff. So the vocal thing with Intelligent Woman, I was like, I can hear the song, I can hear the structure. And even with the remix I've done, really, I've just nodded to the old original. I haven't really, you know, I've just updated it with some modern production, but tried to keep that original essence of one of rap's biggest ever songs, you know?
I'm Kinetics, I'm a music producer and a DJ, and for this amazing project I've done a remix of Intelligent Woman, which is a great song. And it came from the back of, I did a remix of DJ Rap's song with General Levy, Life of the Party.
DJ Rapper General, well if you need some life in your party, all we.
I know when I go to a festival or an event and she's playing, if I go watch her play, it's not just watching a DJ play a set, it's like a school lesson, you know. I'm learning about the music, I'm picking up different things that I just don't hear everyone else doing, and it's great. I love it, I think it's amazing.
Sounds of the wicked, the 6-minute queen, DJ Rap, come on girl. From miles around, they come to the sound of Intelligent Girls.
Here we are, we're getting ready for Jungle Fever to get on, and this is we're outside the Coronet Theatre, so it's going to be fun.
Listen, it's the legend, it's DJ Rap. And if you don't know, you're never gonna know. We love drum and bass jungle. If you do, put your hands in the air right now. If you're here because you love the music, put your hands in the air right now. Don't know, support this. Oh yeah. R.I.P. to the Remza. Love your play one every time. You know this. I know you love this one, innit? Oh yeah.
I'd like to introduce my friend from way back. Show your appreciation for the DJ Rap. Where's the fucking finger? Hold the finger high. Huck respect to the DJ fucking Rap. And if anybody gets caught fucking around, we take you around the back. The bats around the beat. Don't forget that.
Being an artist, it's not something you choose. It chooses you. Creating isn't a decision, it's a calling. For me, the happiest moments of my life have always been when I'm creating, not chasing success, not being on stage, just creating. That's when I feel most alive. I can't tell you how many Christmases I've spent alone. I've always been a lone wolf, and in those quiet, sometimes painful moments, music was the thing that held me. It was my therapy and my sanctuary. As a child, if I was alone on Christmas Day, I'd make music. As an adult, in heartbreak, loss, grief, it was always music I turned to. There's something divine about creating. It's not even coming from me. It's coming through me, like something beyond me is whispering what to do next. That need to express, that's just where the magic is. That's where the healing is. And that's why I keep doing it. Not for fame, not for charts, but because it's who I am, and it's the only thing that's never left me. I always thought, even as a child, that I was going to end up being a big performer on stage. I remember dancing in front of the mirror, hairbrush in hand, performing to the masses. Or I'd be in fancy dress, acting. Either way, whether it was acting or singing, I just knew somehow I'd end up on the spotlight. But the reality of being on stage with a band is completely different from the experience of DJing, and it's more exposed, more raw. Here's some rare footage of me practicing for my album Learning Curve. In the end, I chose to step away from singing and focus on my DJ career. That's where I felt most at home. I never really saw myself as a strong vocalist anyway, but I'm proud I gave it a shot, and it's definitely helped me as a producer, especially when I'm working with other artists. I'm also really grateful I had the chance to experience that side of performance because it helped shape the artist I am today.
Are we ready then?
Over the years, I've had a few DJs and producers tell me I've made a mistake by going to America, that I should have stayed put, that I would have been far more successful in England. And maybe they're right, but the truth is, if I hadn't gone, I wouldn't have had the incredible journey I've lived. You've got to take your shot in life. You have to say yes to the big, scary, life-changing opportunities. We can always go back. I wonder how many of those DJs and producers would have actually turned down a record deal in America. I don't regret it for a second. That chapter gave me memories, growth, and a life I could never have imagined, and still gives me so much today. I've got a deep love for both sides of the pond. My roots are planted in both. My identity is drenched in the culture of each, and I love them equally for it. Sometimes it honestly shocks me that I'm still DJing, still traveling the world after more than 35 years in the game. It's an incredible blessing to wake up and still be doing what I love. It's not easy, and it's never been easy. People see the bright side on social media, the stages, the lights, the crowd, but they don't always get to see what I call the iceberg effect, the 1/10 above the surface and the 9/10 underneath it. The travel, the hustle, the pressure, the mental strain, the late nights, the early flights, all to get to that moment where you throw your arms up and the crowd roars. Is it worth it? Absolutely. Even with the loneliness, the sacrifice and the depression, the blood, sweat and tears, it is worth it because it challenges you, it grows you, and it gives you back in ways nothing ever could. Sure, there are choices I might have made differently, but not too many and not the ones that matter. This journey has taken me all around the world, and these are just a few of my favorite moments. Luv&Bass, DJ Rap.